continuing on, I'm probably gonna make this 2 parts because I can already tell this is going to be a long video. So yeah, I might break this up in 2 parts. So when we're, how will we meet? Oh, okay. Yes, he had a divorce. It left him with his son. He was cheated on, and so they were together, I think 5 or 6 years. They were married, they had a baby. Honestly, on the first date all of this came out, and we were just, we were talking about our past relationships, our past history. She cheated on him with one of his co-workers. He found out. Obviously nothing was ever the same. This was about, I think they actually got the divorce a year ago, so I'm not saying he was cheated on a year ago, but they got the divorce, everything, about a year ago. And when I pulled his birth chart, I did notice that he has his north node in the home of family, of security. He also has Jupiter there too, which makes sense because he is someone who, he wants 4 to 5 kids. He already has 1. He is looking to expand his family, and he was very forthcoming with me, even on the first date, that he is, looking to not only have his own, but to also adopt as well. And he is a part of charities that, take care of, children who are in the foster system and things like that, getting them what they need, or even just toys and things like that. And he's done mission trips to other countries to help building things like churches and things like that. He is a Sagittarius, so coming back to the Emperor, we have fire sign vibes. Coming back to the Knight of Wands, about what our challenge will be. Knight of Wands, this is Sagittarius, Scorpio vibes. This is a fast moving person. He is definitely more outgoing than I am. He is more extroverted. Yes, I have a Sagittarius moon, but we are compatible as far as our sun sign and everything, but I am definitely more, I don't know, I don't know what the word is. I'm not that outgoing, not that vibrant until I really get to know you. So that is that. What else will they be like? Knight of Wands, he was very fast moving. So I think we had FaceTimed every day. We got to know each other, build rapport for about a week and a half before we actually met. We went to dinner. It was a very nice place. He was tall and everything that, I wanted. Not as tall as I wanted. He was like 6'1". He could have been a little taller. Usually I like 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". Anyways, that's just me being shallow right now. That shouldn't really matter. But anyways, for the most part, the date went great. We definitely did some connecting, but Sagittarius, a fire sign, I've been with Sagittariuses before, but they are faster moving. And so right after the first date, we are back in his vehicle. We're listening to music because it was very cold outside, because we would have walked around after dinner, because we spent hours eating. I wasn't drinking alcohol. He wasn't drinking either. And anyways, so we stayed there as long as we could for people who had already finished our dinner and aren't actually drinking drinks. So then we went back and we listened to music for hours, which was a good way, I think, to get to know each other, because I don't know, I think music is an art form. So sharing your favorite songs with someone and just listening to them, sometimes sitting in deep silence and sometimes talking, it is it was definitely very romantic. And also there was some cuddling, so I was happy. But he is a little bit sexually aggressive, so sometimes doing things like putting his hand all the way up my skirt, I had to push him away many times. And I think earlier in the date he had asked me if I'm the type of person to kiss on the first date, and I was honest with him. Like I said, I'm a little standoffish when I'm getting to know someone. I just told him that no, sometimes it could be offensive because it just shows that this guy doesn't like, he's just there for other reasons, and I like to actually get to know someone even before something like that. Like, I don't know, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way, especially if I'm just meeting someone. Even if I want to kiss them, I will hold back. That's just me. Try to guess my sign, my sun sign, if you can. But yeah, so I was upfront with him, but he still tried kissing me multiple times when we were alone together. And so I was pushing him away quite a lot. So it's just like, a part of the date was really wonderful. We got the chance to bond and to talk about, just things that are real. I think that not a lot of people would talk about on a first date, but we were very comfortable with it. But then him being physically a little too much for me. I know for some girls, kissing on the first date, like, that's not a big deal, and so maybe I will be called a prude, but whatever. That's just how I feel. So anyways, we already see the challenges is coming up. Now remember, when I'm on this date, this is in January, I've completely forgot about this love spread that I did back in October. So when this is happening, I'm not in my head saying, oh my gosh, this is the guy I met. So I've completely forgot about this. This is away in my book. Since I did that spread in October, what, 3 months have passed? So I'm doing other spreads about other topics in my life. So this is many, many pages in the past. So I had no idea that this person was the emperor that I was so excited to meet. I had no idea that the challenge of him being too enthusiastic, of being too quick physically, fast moving, I had no idea about any of these things. So I was kind of shocked. So a part of me was very confused. I was just like, this was a good date, but at the same time, I don't want to be with someone who just wants a sexual relationship. I want something real. So I was very confused after this first date, because half of me was like, the date went wonderful, and then half of me was just like, I'm gonna have to beat this guy off of me because he, you know, yeah. Anyways, but everything was checking out but I did not know everything was checking out until much later. We're talking weeks down the road, when I went back in my book and I found this spread that I did, because I wasn't just constantly doing love spreads. Usually I'm doing spreads about other questions, so it's not really on my mind too much. So as it will turn out, we had this entire thing went for maybe 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks. We went on 3 dates in that time. Again, he was very consistent with the FaceTiming every day, sometimes multiple times per day. Yeah, so the second date, it was at another restaurant. This one was not as nice as the first one, but it was good to see him and just to talk to him. I did get some vibes that he was this could be because of his job, that he is very aware of his surroundings. He can be a little almost cynical about things happening. He's very on guard at all times. Like if we're sitting at a table, he cannot be the one with his back to the door or back to the people. He has to be actually seeing the people, or he just does not feel safe. So there are certain things about him that I was figuring out. At this time of the second date, I do not yet have his birth information. So all I have is, oh, he's a Sagittarius. The longest relationship I've ever been in was with a Sagittarius. It was a good relationship. And so, oh, and then I had another year-long relationship with another Sagittarius. So it's just like, I do naturally attract Sagittarians. It does, you know, yeah. And it definitely usually works out for me. I've never had like a bad instance with one, but I could see that there was something else going on in his chart, because yes, he was very outgoing, and they can be loud, they can be funny, they're very extroverted people, they're crazy. Obviously he had traveled to different countries, but there were some things about him, especially with, you know, the family and his thing about just commitment. He had a thing about honesty. Like he asked me what my tattoo meant, and I am kind of a private person, and so I just like lied and I said, oh, chicken butt, and I wouldn't tell him. And it was so funny, we're on FaceTime and he just says, I will find out what it means. He was like, I don't know, I value honesty in a relationship. Like, you have to be honest with me. So he was like, you don't have to tell me today, but eventually you're going to tell me what it means. And so just the fact that I was keeping from him what some Japanese characters on my wrist meant, it kind of showed me that, okay, there's some other stuff going on here. Sagittarians are very honest people. I will give you that. But no, I was just getting different vibes to him. But I was trying to figure out, okay, what is in this birth chart? What is in this birth chart? And I don't know. Also, so after the second date, the date goes great. We go back to his vehicle. I don't want to go back to his house. So we sit there and we listen to music for a couple more hours until his babysitter had to go home. And then that's when I got back my vehicle, and then we went, you know, our separate ways. So again, he was a little physical. I had to keep on pushing him away and, you know, calming him down. I did actually kiss him, though he stole kisses the first date anyways, even though I didn't necessarily want to right away. Yeah, whatever. So again, very handsy, hands just everywhere, all over me. I could tell this is one of those people where you do not want to kind of tease them, because trust me, they will pin you down and basically be on top of you. He was very take charge of, he was a mixture of gentle but firm. Okay, so I could already tell he was going to be a very sensual lover. If we ever got to that point, I could already tell. And also, I think at this point I was already kind of getting Scorpio vibes. I had been in a relationship where I was going to get married with a Scorpio. I ended up leaving that relationship. They are very intense. But from the intensity of him, I knew he had a lot of passion underneath him. So I was either, oh, this is either Scorpio or Taurus. But you have to think, when you're thinking about these people, you usually think about what you've experienced. And so, I got Taurus Scorpio vibes. So moving along, 10 of Pentacles, he was very family oriented and just he wants to settle down, he wants to start the family, he doesn't want anything surface level. But obviously he was scaring me away with how physical he was being, because I want to move slow, because I want to make sure this person's actually going to be there and not just be something sexual. So let's move to the third date. So the third date was actually at his house. And so, I just knew we were probably gonna watch a movie, whatnot, and just spend time with each other. I'm not the type of girl who feels like you have to spend money on me every single date. So I get to his home. His home is very nice. It is clean. Okay, so my camera died. So yeah, we are watching a movie, we are spooning, we are talking. The first red flag was he wanted to watch it in his bedroom, and I was very against that because I don't want to put myself in a situation where I have to fight him off me, because usually I'm fighting him off me anyways. So it's like, it's good to know someone is sexually attracted to you, but it's just, I don't want to open myself up for just something I'm just not ready for it just yet. And also at this time, it's just like, I feel like if he wouldn't have been so pushy sexually, I probably would have opened up a little more, but usually I was kind of on the defensive side. So for me, we've been talking for almost a month, and I have not yet saved his name in my phone. His phone number is just like popping up the entire 10 digits. Like, that can tell you how I felt, kind of. I was just, oh, this could go either way, or he might get tired of me always pushing him away. So we're kissing and watching the movie and spooning on the couch, because I just straight up was like, nope, not going to your bed. And he starts getting to be a little too much. His hands are just going places that I'm not completely comfortable. Like, he's kind of assertive, okay, in that respect. So I push him away, and he says, are you even attracted to me? So I'm seeing a little bit of emotion from him. Well, no, I had already seen some instances of emotion, but for the sake of this video, he's just like, I don't even know if you're attracted to me. And I'm just like, yes, I'm attracted to you. And he's just like, why? Like, he could not understand why I wanted to go so slow. Like, it just wasn't computing. But I've had that happen in the past with other people, where sometimes I give off maybe vibes of, I want you, and then they start engaging and I'm just like, stop, and like they just can't figure out why not. Sometimes with people from other countries, other cultures, they definitely move way faster than I do, and I've noticed this in the past. So I'm not saying this is just a him problem. I have encountered this before, so I don't want to say I'm used to it, but every once in a while this will happen. So and then he said something, again, kind of emotional. When we're talking, you don't even say be safe. He was like, you wouldn't even care if I died at work, because again, his job is very dangerous. Even though he does have more responsibilities and there is a side of it that is desk work, he still has a side of it where he is around very dangerous people. And I kind of knew he was going to bring that up, because every time we would FaceTime right before he would go into work, I would say, oh, have a good night, because yeah, usually he was working a night shift. And so that's another thing. When we're meeting up, sometimes he's gone 24 hours without sleeping. So that's another reason why I kind of wanted to give him a break, a pass, because like, people, even if you're not drinking, people who are very, very tired, very, very stressed, they tend to almost act like they're drunk. Like, have you ever been very sleep deprived and then like you act out a little bit? So it's just like, most of the times when I'm seeing him, he's not yet gone to sleep, or if he did go to sleep, it's only been for like 4 hours. So I had to keep that in the back of my mind when I'm dealing with him, telling him, I hope you're safe. Okay, honestly, that was just me being me and not completely open. Just sometimes, I don't know, I am a little reserved. And so it was just so funny to me that he realized that, and like that it bothered him that I would never say be safe or something like that before we would get off the phone. But he was like, but yeah, he was very emotional with that little outburst of, you wouldn't even care if I died. And then he was like, would you even cry? And this is where the emotional immaturity comes in. So now we can see the Page of Cups again, guys. During this time, we've been dealing with each other almost a month. I've completely forgot about this spread. But I'm just like, so thankfully before the night, so this was on our third date, before the night got so emotional, I did ask him for his birth time and his birthplace and his birth information so I could look up his natal chart. And it was so funny, you should have saw, he almost started pouting. Okay, we're spooning, and I could just see him, he's just like, you're gonna judge me. And so it's just like, oh gosh, he's had experience with astrology girls like me. Like, I just knew it. And I just told him, no, this is so I can understand you better. Because we were having some, you know, I couldn't completely understand where he was coming from. You know, he was a very physical person. I am very physical only after I feel secure. Only after I know your full intentions. And sorry, I'm not going to know your full intentions after us only going on 3 dates. I don't care how long we've been talking. It's only been almost a month, but still, I need more than that until I open up. That's just how it works. So I definitely I needed to understand what was going on in his chart because I needed to know. So for science. So yeah, so that little outburst happens, and then you know, we go back to watching the movie. Again, we have the same issue. His hands are going places I'm not completely comfortable with. I'm kind of pushing him away. And so then he says, we're going to talk about this. And I'm just like, oh my God. Okay, first off, Sagittarians, if they have an issue, they are very honest, maybe a little too honest, and they will need to talk it out right away. So the thing that got me was when we were talking, he was like, what do you want? What are you looking for? And so he was just like, I don't even know if you're attracted to me. And I guess like he was just, and then he said something like, you insult me. And he was right, because I had been throwing some insults his way. Like since the first or second date, I think I had said something about how I had heard that men in the police force are dogs when it comes to women, like they move too fast. And so I could see how that had hurt his feelings, and that was my bad for calling someone that. But I was just, how fast he was moving with me, and I was like saying no, 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 and he wasn't listening. So it was just like, I felt like I was justified in saying that. But honestly, I realize now that there were some insults that I threw his way that, you know, weren't the nicest. So obviously it hit home. So this is where I start seeing some water in him. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm still trying to figure out what's in the birth chart. Okay, so yeah, and so he wanted to talk, and so I get, if I'm not a very what's that word, confrontational person. I'm just like, if we're gonna talk about this, I felt like we could have talked about this, maybe like we didn't have to do it right then, but he is confrontational. He is that fire sign. Like he is just like, we're gonna do this right now. And so he made me look at him, because I didn't want to look at him. I wanted to continue spooning, and I just wanted to talk about it, not necessarily look each other in his eyes. But he wanted me, he literally turned my face, he's like, look at me, like we can't talk about this like adults. And this is an issue I've had in other relationships, where I have been the immature one as far as handling us working things out and talking. Sometimes I will keep things in. This is an issue, something that I'm working on as a person. And so, you know, he was calling me out on my shit, but I was just very embarrassed, and I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. And at that point, I just kind of wanted to go home. I didn't want to talk about this. Like, I knew we were going to, but it's just like, oh my God, maybe we can do this over the phone or through text or something. But no, he wouldn't do it face to face. But people who are serious, they need to know right then. So anyways, the way I handled it, this was me being immature, and he had to look at me in the eye. He's like, no, I want to look at you in your eye. And so then I start getting Scorpio vibes, because like I've been through a serious relationship with Scorpio, and so I was just like, that's what's in this chart. Right, which would make so much sense. And so I was able to sit there silently while he talked. about what he wanted, and he was just like, I want to get married, I want to start expanding my family, I don't want to waste my time. And then he was like, what do you want? And I was just like, oh, you think I'm wasting your time? So then I start getting defensive and start trying to put it on him. And you know, I was about to pull the whole do you want me to go home thing, just to try to flip the situation and get him to like lighten up a little bit. Yeah, I was trying to play the victim. If you can guess my rising or my sun sign, let me know. I am such a product of my astrology. But anyways, the entire night I had just like a sinking feeling in my stomach. I had to get home because I had someone that I needed to go pick up, and so, you know, thankfully I did not have to stay there any longer. He did walk me out to my vehicle, and he was like, you know, call me when you get home, just like he always does. And so he wasn't upset, but a part of me felt like I kept on disappointing him, which also messed with my feelings of security, because that's probably why I did not save his name in my phone, because I was like, oh, he's gonna get tired of how I'm dealing with this whole situation. And so I was a little emotional on the way home, just like, why is he only worried about sex and sexual things? Like, why can't we just get to know each other? And like, he's literally pushing me away almost, because by him being so physically aggressive in this way, he's not allowing me to open up. And so I just felt bad, because I thought this person was everything that I wanted. Well, not everything, but like, he had a lot of qualities of what I look for in a man, and like, why is this happening to me? So basically I was having a pity party on my drive home. Not in tears, but almost. I was also on my period, so let's throw that in there too. So I get home and immediately I look up the chart. Goodness gracious, guys, let me get my phone. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a two-part video. So let's look at the chart. This is what we have. We have a Sagittarius sun, okay, at 2 degrees. Okay, so we're close to the 0 degree mark. So we are heavy Sagittarius. Oh, Sagittarius sun also in the 12th house. Yes, which completely relates to where he works, you know, the institutions, the places you can't escape. So Sagittarius sun, a Sagittarius rising, okay? All in all, he has all of these planets all in Sagittarius. We have 4 planets in Sagittarius. His Saturn's in Sagittarius, his Uranus is in Sagittarius, Sun is in Sagittarius, it's on the ascendant line. His moon is Aquarius, which I liked, and it's Aquarius at 0 degrees. And it's also in the 2nd house, but you know, 0 degrees, anytime you're close to that 0 degree mark, it's gonna be pretty heavy energy. But here's the flip side. So yes, we have all these planets in Sagittarius, but baby, that's not all. We have a stellium in Scorpio. We have Pluto in Scorpio. We have his Mercury in Scorpio. We have his fucking Mars in Scorpio. So basically my feeling of him attacking me, like, yeah, like, it's just, the sex is gonna be insane. Oh, his Venus is also Sagittarius. So yeah, we have a stellium in Scorpio in the 11th house. And I was just like, dang, that's why I'm so confused on his vibes. Because like, yes, I've been around Sagittarians, but I don't think I've been around Sagittarians that were quite so Sagittarius. But it's his Scorpio stellium completely takes over his personality, like completely. Then we have Jupiter in his 4th house. If you guys are familiar with the 4th house relates to home, upbringing, security, deep-seated emotions, family environment, and property. It's the house of family, like it's ruled by Cancer, and he has Jupiter there, so that explains him wanting the big family. He has his North Node in the 4th house. Okay, this is something that in this lifetime he has to get done. Like, this is very important for him. 4th house is adjacent the 10th house, so in another life he was very, very successful in his career, and it's like he's mastered that. Okay, so that would be the South Node, the 10th house, the house of career. So he basically aced his career, his work drive in another life. This life he's more focused on family, of home, of security, of property, and then he has Jupiter there just expanding all of that. So it's like I wish he didn't have, I don't know, I don't want to say I wish he didn't have that Scorpio Mars, because this is just me. I wasn't ready for it, and I wish I would have known it ahead of time, because I could have understood how aggressive these people were going to be. And then we have Chiron, the wounded healer, in his 7th house of partnerships, of long-term relationships. So yes, this is very much the guy, the 5 of Cups, the heavy Scorpio energy of I'm healing, I've been very hurt, very wounded. He was cheated on, and his son was only maybe 6 months old, with someone that he worked with. So it was very, very traumatic. And so it's just like, wow, I wish I had this information. So our 3rd date was our last time seeing each other. He did ask me to come over maybe a couple days later. I said no. I pulled some cards. The card said, don't go. And then I pulled some cards saying, okay, should I ask to meet up with him in maybe a public place? Because obviously I didn't want a repeat of what had just happened earlier that week. And the cards were like 10 of Swords. So I was just like, crap. So I just thought, oh, just wait. And so basically I lied to him, which is, trust me, Scorpios are very intuitive. They can kind of tell when you're giving them a BS answer. So this is how the text messages went. Basically, he says, are you busy tonight? Want to come over and cuddle me to sleep? Okay, this isn't completely, because he is on a different schedule, meaning that he sleeps during the day. And so he is a very touchy-feely person, which I am too. I love cuddling. It's just, I just don't like it when it gets too serious, like too sexual, before I'm ready for that. So like once I'm in a relationship and I feel secure and safe, then yes, I love sex with my cuddling. But we were getting to know each other, so I don't feel comfortable with that. So I think that was the issue. Like even on our first date, we're sitting at the table. The back is like a bench seat and it has pillows. I'm sitting with my back on the bench seat, and then there's a chair in front of me. So it's a kind of a table for 2, but on this side, it's kind of like a booth, like a bench seat. So I asked him, do you want to sit next to me? Because I wanted to physically be closer to him. And I know it's kind of silly in the restaurants when like some couples, like they have to like sit right on each other, but I like that. I like to be touching. Even the first date, even when we were in his vehicle, like we were cuddling together. Okay, he was on my lap, I was stroking his hair. It's just, I am very touchy-feely, so I could see how for him with the Scorpio Mars, even something as innocent as stroking his hair or stroking his chest, it gets him way too fired up, and then he gets confused when I'm like, no, 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 stop putting your hands up my skirt, and things get like out of control very quickly. Scorpio Mars, gosh guys, if you haven't done some research on it, they're intense. I'm a Cancer Mars. I am not intense. So what happened is, so he asked that, are you busy tonight? Want to come over and cuddle me to sleep? And I said, no, I can't. Sad face. And I just left it at that. He sent over a sad face, and then I ignored him for a couple hours. Do not ignore Scorpios. They are water signs. Like people are like, oh, and this is also why I think I was a little, I don't want to say afraid of him, but I did have more of I felt almost like an animal backed into a corner sometimes when he was coming on to me a little bit. No, with his, I think, sexuality, I was kind of like taken aback a little bit. And they do have a way of being intimidating, and they are just so passionate, very intense. For other signs, it can come off as a lot, and so now I understand why I was feeling that way, and that's just how he was. My ex that I almost got married to, when I first met him, I was intimidated by him. I did not understand him right off the bat. It took us years of getting to know each other, but thankfully we were both in other relationships, so we got to know each other mutually as friends first, and then all of a sudden things changed, and when we were both out of our relationships, that's when we progressed and we got into a serious relationship, and we were living together, and I'm talking about starting a family, and then he was going to propose and everything like that, and I wasn't ready for marriage, and he was very much ready. So it's just like, I do have quite a lot of experience with Scorpios, and what they need, but that's different because I was very comfortable in that relationship because I got to know him. I wasn't just getting to know him and right off the bat I knew he was sexually attracted to me because we were both in different relationships, so I got to know him as a person. So by the time we did finally get into a sexual relationship, I was very comfortable with him, and so I was just like, you know, I was more inviting and accepting of him and his high libido. But for someone that I do not know, like, that's not mine. That's not mine yet. So I don't want to get to know it. So anyways, I 100% think from this text, this was our last text because he ghosted me after this. I have not heard from him. I pulled some cards. Supposedly I will hear from him. We will see. I don't know. Like I said, with cards, like, I like to ask questions and to see if these things are going to come true, but sometimes I forget about them. In this case, I'm just not sure if I will, because Scorpios, like, you know, when they're done with something, they're kind of just done with something, but sometimes they can get obsessive. So I have had exes, Scorpio exes in the past, where they hold on for years and they will still tell me that they love me and that blah blah blah, and then, you know, it's just, I don't know, with Scorpio, they are, I'm not like a Scorpio expert or anything, but I'm just telling you, it could go either way. And so I am a little skeptical on if the cards are true, and I will hear back from him. But I had texted him after hours of ignoring him that night, which you should never do with them, and also you really shouldn't lie to them. They have weird sixth sense. I tried to ask him, oh, how was your day? And, you know, I think you could tell that my answer was BS of the no, I can't, because again, we FaceTime every day, a couple times a day. He knows at what time, what I'm doing with my family, and he just knows that I'm not doing much of anything because I am very much a homebody. So anyways, that is that. This is definitely going to be 2 parts because this is so long. I hope this was helpful.